Mirror's Edge is one of the best-selling movement-based video games of all time, and for good reason too. Mirror's Edge, in my opinion, is one of the best parkour games of all time. In this video essay, I will be explaining my reasonings as to why. But first, let me give you a brief background on Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge was released in 2008, created by DICE and published by EA. The aim of the developers was simple: create the best movement-based video game on the market. In my opinion, they succeeded. Not just at the time, but even to this day. Mirror's Edge is just an absolute pleasure to run and jump around in. Mirror's Edge takes place in a police-state city called The City. The city is controlled by an oppressive regime that forces citizens into line and criminalizes those who don't. In Mirror's Edge, you play as Faith Connors, a member of an underground resistance group called The Runners. I'm your host, a cat with a video essay, and I wish a very warm welcome to everybody to my first fully fledged video essay, and thank you very much for being here. So, with some backstory and introductions out of the way, why don't we start with Chapter 1, Visuals. Mirror's Edge is a game composed, for the most part, of two colours, white and red. The colour white in Mirror's Edge represents the control of the police state over the city. White is associated with the feeling of being trapped. White buildings wrapping around you with no way to see out, creating a claustrophobic feeling. Other colours do play a part in Mirror's Edge as well though. Industrial oranges and commercial and governmental blues play a huge part in the game. Red, however, is the colour of freedom and the runners. The colour red is used to guide players through levels. Objects coloured red mark the path forward. As you can see here, our objective, where we have to get to, is coloured in this red. Most interactable elements of Mirror's Edge are this red colour, which fade back to the colour they originally are when you're finished with them. Following the colour red leads you to where you go naturally, without giving you something like a quest marker. As a side note, graphically, the game looks amazing. For a game released in 2008, Mirror's Edge is an absolute pleasure to look at. Things like climbable pipes, boxes you can jump on, closed doors and bars you can swing off of, are all coloured red to signify how to progress. This also allows there to be multiple paths for the player to follow while still leading you forward. It's such a simple idea, but it blends seamlessly into the game world. I really can't praise this approach enough. I feel a lot of video games struggle with directing the player without really relying on quest markers or dialogue. The approach of Mirror's Edge, however, allows players to focus on gameplay without interruption, constantly keeping the flow going. Speaking of gameplay, Chapter 2, Gameplay. Mirror's Edge is a game about finding the coolest, most efficient way to traverse from point A to point B. Mirror's Edge, like any movement game should, has amazing movement that flows seamlessly action to action. The fluidity of a keyboard and mouse is unmatched compared to any other movement game I've played. What I love most about the gameplay of Mirror's Edge is how rewarding moving fast feels. Mirror's Edge has a significantly long wind-up to moving at full speed. It takes around 5 seconds for Faith to move at full speed. Pretty long, right? But I feel this is a very smart move by the developers. While running at full speed, you truly feel fast due to the long wind-up timer. This has the effect of making mistakes punishing, forcing players into what I call the runner zone. Trademark. This is sort of like a flow state. Mirror's Edge forces you into concentrating heavily on keeping the momentum up at all times, forcing players to adapt on the fly. Though I will admit, repeatedly failing an area can feel like a slog sometimes. Either missing a jump and falling into the pavement below, or having to walk back to the start of the jump can get very annoying very fast. Succeeding while in the runner zone feels amazing and rewarding. I feel like a ninja warrior when I parkour past a group of enemies unfazed, or like an acrobat while running roof to roof at full speed, making every jump and sticking every landing. Mirror's Edge's gameplay is responsive, snappy, and impactful. Climbing fences, sliding, and rolling feels meaningful, and this adds to an already incredible feeling movement system. The only gripe about gameplay I have about Mirror's Edge is combat. Combat feels very basic and clunky. You have basic punch, kick, parry, that's pretty much it. You can shoot guns in Mirror's Edge, but most of the time you're just better off running past the enemies than actually engaging and fighting them. I'd regret not touching upon probably the most important aspect of Mirror's Edge's gameplay, and that is speedrunning potential. This game is practically designed from the ground up to be a good speed game. Mirror's Edge has dozens of movement tricks and optimizations that you could apply to even non-speedruns. You've probably noticed by now in some gameplay clips, I do this movement here. This is called a sidestep boost. This is an incredibly important movement tech in speedruns. This uses the sidestep, a dodging move activated by holding left or right and dodging. If you turn your camera while sidestepping, you keep your momentum, allowing you to be at full sprinting speed near instantly. This is one of my favourite tricks in the game, and I nearly always use it in casual playthroughs. Mirror's Edge has a dedicated speedrun community I highly recommend checking out. There are too many insane tricks to cover in this video. Mirror's Edge is just an absolute wonder to play. However, it would be unfair for me not to talk about some of this game's downsides. So why don't we discuss them in Chapter 3, Downsides. Mirror's Edge is an incredibly fun game for the given runtime, though unfortunately it is a short game. Mirror's Edge will take a maximum of around 15 hours to beat for a first time casual playthrough. This puts Mirror's Edge in a bit of a weird spot. The game is way too short to justify €20/$dollar price tag. This is why I highly recommend buying the game on a heavy sale if you're buying it on PC, though console users can enjoy either Game Pass, PS Plus, or physical copy of the game. Another downside of Mirror's Edge is the story. The story is quite bland. It's a basic somebody is dead and somebody is framed for murder, and you have to get to the bottom of the mystery. Though the story is told through these really cool 2D animated cutscenes. The story is basic, but it serves its purpose as a way of getting the player to different environments. I don't have too much to say about the downsides of Mirror's Edge, though do take that with a grain of salt. This is an opinion piece after all, and my opinion is that of a Mirror's Edge fanboy. So why don't I fanboy a little bit more in Chapter 4, Quickfire round. Map design in Mirror's Edge is very good. I love how some areas are puzzles without the red to guide you where you have to go. Mirror's Edge has custom maps, which are okay to mess around with if you're looking for something a little extra, though these are of varying quality, but they're still quite fun. Mirror's Edge also has quite dedicated Reddit and Discord communities, so you can always find somebody to chat to about the game. But that being said, I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video essay, as it's my first fully fledged video essay, and feedback is always appreciated. Please take the time to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm a cat with a video essay, and I'll see you in the next game.